Picture this: millions of specialized AIs, all working in perfect harmony. You've got your coder AI, your data analyst AI, your creative writer AI, all of them collaborating, automating tasks, and literally building our future. But in a world that's buzzing with that much AI activity, how do you stop it from becoming total chaos? How do they all talk to each other without miscommunications or, just dropping the connection? Well, they need a universal rulebook, a shared language, and that's exactly what we're diving into today. And that rulebook is called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP lifecycle. Now, I want you to think of it less like some dry technical manual and more like the Geneva Convention for AI. Seriously, it's the official set of diplomatic protocols that make sure every single interaction between two AI agents is orderly, predictable, and super effective, all inside a single connection that we call a session. So in this explainer, we're going to unlock the 3 acts of this AI diplomatic mission. We've got the handshake, which is where they meet and agree on the rules. Then there's the mission, where all the real work gets done. And finally, the debrief, the clean and orderly exit strategy. Okay, let's kick things off with stage 1, the handshake. And let me tell you, this is so much more than a simple hello. This is like the first diplomatic summit, where the entire mission's rules of engagement are set in stone. So before a single bit of work begins, our 2 agents, let's call one the client, our diplomat, and the other the server, our specialist, they have to answer 2 absolutely fundamental questions. First, hey, are we speaking the same language here? And second, okay, what can you do and what can I do? It is all about setting crystal clear expectations right from the get-go. This whole agreement happens in a super precise 3-step dance. First up, the client sends an initialize request, basically saying, here's my protocol version and here's what I can do. Then, the server replies right back, confirming its own version and skills. And finally, if it's all good, the client sends a quick initialize notification. It's like that final nod that says, okay, we have a deal. The line is secure, the mission is officially a go. Now, this capability negotiation is really the heart of the handshake. It's a strategic exchange of skills. The client might offer something called roots, which gives the server access to its file system, or even sampling, which lets the server borrow the client's own AI brainpower. Pretty cool, right? In return, the server lays out all its tools, the specific jobs it can perform. This isn't just a boring feature list, it's a dynamic agreement that means both agents know exactly what to expect. No surprises. All right, let's move on to stage 2, the mission. The handshake is done, the rules are set, and now it is time to put all those capabilities into action. This is where the magic really happens. Executing the mission is actually a 2-part process. First up is discovery. Right after that handshake, the client automatically asks for a full manifest of everything the server can do, all its tools, all its resources. Think of it like a secret agent getting a complete gadget list from QBranch before the mission even starts. Only after that comes part 2, tool calling. Now the client can send a specific command, a tool's call, to use one of those gadgets with the perfect parameters. Let me show you just how simple and powerful this is. Let's say the client needs to read a file. It sends a tools/call request for the read file tool and gives it the file name hello.py. The server instantly does its job, returns the file's content, and that's it. Task complete. Mission accomplished. That is the true elegance of the MCP. Breaking down complex tasks into these clean, efficient, and incredibly precise actions. And that brings us to our final act, stage 3, the debrief. You know, every successful mission needs a professional conclusion. This is how the connection is terminated cleanly, without leaving any loose ends. Okay, now here's a really crucial detail that actually catches a lot of people by surprise. There is no goodbye message in the MCP protocol itself. Nope. Instead, ending the session is handled by the underlying communication channel, what we call the transport layer. Think of it like this. The AIs finish their conversation, and then one of them just hangs up the phone line. Simple as that. Now, how that hang-up happens depends on where the server is. For a local server running on your machine, the client tries to be polite first. If that doesn't work, it sends something called a SIG term, which is like a formal notice to shut down. If the server is still being stubborn, the client escalates to a SIG kill. That's the forced shutdown that absolutely cannot be ignored. For a remote server, it's way simpler. The client just cuts the HTTP connection. Direct, clean, and final.
Before we wrap this all up, let's quickly go over the protocol's lifelines. These are the essential rules of the road that keep every mission running smoothly from beginning to end.
First, we have ping. It's a super simple, lightweight check-in. Hey, you still there? This is absolutely vital because things like firewalls or network glitches can silently drop a connection. A quick ping just makes sure that line of communication is still wide open. Next, error handling. When things inevitably go wrong, the protocol doesn't just crash and burn. It sends back a standardized error report with a specific code and a clear message. This means developers always know exactly what broke and why, which completely eliminates the guesswork. Then you've got the timeout rule. What if a server just gets stuck? Well, the client can set a deadline, say 30 seconds. If it doesn't get a response in that window, the request is automatically canceled. No AI agent is left waiting around forever for an answer that's never going to come. And finally, for those missions that take a little more time, there are progress notifications. The server can send these little updates, like, hey, I'm about 60% done, using a special progress token. This keeps the client, and by extension you, the user, in the loop and confident that work is still chugging along. So after going through all these stages and roles, let's just zoom out for a second. What does this all really mean? Why does this protocol actually matter so much? Because the MCP lifecycle isn't just another piece of technology, it's a blueprint. It is the foundational architecture for that exact future we imagined at the very beginning, a future where millions of specialized AI agents can connect, negotiate, and collaborate with each other seamlessly, safely, and with total reliability. Understanding these diplomatic rules, the handshake, the mission, and the debrief, is the absolute first, critical step to building that automated future. It gives us the stability and the predictability that we need for complex AI systems to actually work together. So the only question left is, now that you know the rules of the game, what are you going to build with them?